Hi, I'm Brian with the Tennessee Department of Education. Welcome back to our fourth grade lessons on energy. As we've gone through our last couple lessons on energy, one of the things that we've learned is that energy is something that causes change. Or another way to say that is, if you want to cause a change, then you have to have energy. You get energy from the food you eat. So we're going to look today. We're going to change. Our lessons so far have talked about energy of things that move. We've looked at a ball rolling down a ramp, and we saw that if it rolls into a cup, it can cause the cup to move. So the ball must have energy. And we've done a marble that we've dropped into a container of sand. We saw that it made a mark in the sand. So that tells us that the marble had energy because it caused those changes. So now we're going to look at something a little bit different. So I've brought this to show you today, and maybe you can recognize it. It might be a little bit difficult to recognize as it sits right now, but maybe if I take off these covers, it might be a little bit easier to figure out what it is that I'm showing you. So give me just a moment here as I try to pry these covers off. All right. Now that the cover's off, maybe you recognize what this is. This is a speaker. And this speaker actually has two different speakers. But have you ever noticed that all speakers have this same type of a shape? Most of them are either circles or at least round. Sometimes they're ovals. But you don't often have too many things with square speakers. Sometimes you have buzzers, which might look a little bit like a speaker. So I wonder why it is that speakers have this shape. Now, if you have a speaker that someone will let you take apart and feel, you might notice things about the way the speaker is made. So if I feel the parts of the speaker, I can feel this. There's a raised ring on the outside. And if I feel that raised ring, you might notice that it's soft and I can press it. And then inside of the raised ring is this bowl type part. And if I feel that bowl, I notice that the bowl is hard. It's firm. And then lastly, I have this middle piece. The middle piece is a little bit squishy. What I notice though is if I press my finger gently on the middle part, I can actually make that whole bowl go up and down. See if I can show you that a bit more closely. Perhaps you can see it. Maybe you can see it flexing down a little bit as I press. So let's talk about sound and how sound works and why speakers have this shape. So to help understand this, I'm going to create a little bit of a model here for sound. So this black paper is just there for contrast. That means to make things show up better. Then I've got a sticky note here, and I'm just going to put this sticky note onto the black paper. And I'm trying to make it stand up a little bit. You're welcome to do this at home. All right. Now, I want you to pretend for a moment that this sticky note is your eardrum. So here's our ear. And inside of our ear, we have this eardrum. Now, we hear things because that eardrum connects to our brain. So in other words, if I make a sound and try humming and making a sound, maybe you can feel it on your lips and your teeth, or if you touch your neck while you hum, I can feel that something inside of my body is shaking. That's my vocal cords. They help me to make a sound. Now, the way that sound works is that if a person or a speaker makes a sound, so I'm going to draw that speaker that we just showed, draw it from the side here. When that person or speaker makes the sound travels out from their vocal cords and it causes the eardrum to move. So inside of our ear is that eardrum. Our brain is connected to our eardrum, and our brain is able to know when the eardrum is moving, and our brain gets that as a message. All right, let's look back at our model now, and let's see how this actually works. So there's our eardrum. And now to have something that's kind of like the speaker, I have a cup. And what the speaker does is it moves back and forward. So I'm going to do that with my hand. And I want you to pay attention to what happens to the paper when I move my hand back and forward. Ready? I'm going to move it forward. And if I do it enough, you might be able to see that the paper moves. Try doing it from the other side. And the camera doesn't seem to be picking this up extremely well. I can see it here. It's showing up a little bit better. You'll notice that for this example, to get that card to move, I have to move the cup pretty quickly. Now, if this cup is doing exactly what a speaker does. The speaker moves forward quickly, and that pushes air forward. You might have thought, I don't think that it's not a mystery to me why that paper moves. That cup is just pushing the air. If you realize that the cup is pushing air and that the air then comes out and the air pushes on the paper, you have a pretty good idea of how a speaker works. With a speaker, if I take and I tap on the back of the cup, I'm also able to make that paper move. So another way of saying make the paper move is that I'm changing the position of the paper. I'm causing the paper's position to move back and forth. The top of the paper moves back and forth. So if tapping on the cup makes a sound, and if changing position means that there's energy involved, I know that sound must be a type of energy. And the reason I'm saying that is because energy causes change, the paper changes positions, and the sound causes all of that. So sound is energy. I really encourage you to try this demonstration at home, and you could even just tape a normal piece of paper to a desk. It doesn't have to be any paper that's fancy like this. You could even take a piece of paper and put it inside of the edge of a book so it didn't have to be sticky, and try the demonstration that way. All right. This lesson, lesson 6, comes along with this activity page, and the activity page is there for us to show that we understand the way that, or to show that we understand that sound is energy. So our directions say, write captions on the pictures to explain what is happening. Use each of these words at least one time in your captions. And the words that we have to use are sound, energy, evidence, transfer. All right, so let's think about and make sure we understand what all of those words mean. So sound is just something that you hear. Energy is the ability to cause a change. Evidence is like proof. It shows us that something is happening or shows us that something is correct. And transfer is moving from one place to another. So let's try to pair these words together. Let's start with transfer. What is being transferred? Well, we have the pencil moving. So if the pencil is moving, that shows me that there is energy in the pencil. And when the pencil bumps into the cup, it makes these sound waves. And as a result, the paper vibrates back and forth. So what I have here is I have motion, energy, when I move the pencil. This camera is not picking up this writing very well. So I have motion energy when I move the pencil. The paper was also moving, so that means I have motion energy in the paper. The paper is changing. It's moving back and forth, so that must be energy of motion. So how do I get energy from the pencil to the paper? Well, that is what transfer is. Transfer is when you move something from one place to another place. So we were transferring energy. And if I look at this drawing, then the artist who did this drawing made some squiggly lines to show me how that energy was transferred. These are the squiggly lines that I'm talking about right here on the paper. And those squiggly lines represent the sound. So now we figured out how to use, I think, all of our words except for evidence. But evidence is not really part of this model. So we'll use that as in our explanation, but we don't need it quite yet. Okay, the big idea here is I have motion energy because I'm moving the pencil. Later on, the paper starts to move, which tells me that it also has motion energy. And I know that sound was the thing that carried or transferred the energy from my hand and the pencil over to this Post-it note or sticky note. All right. So my first box here points to just the pencil and the cup. What can I say about these? I think that what I can say is that the pencil is moving, and so I know that it has motion energy. The pencil has motion energy because it is moving. All right. Now I've used the word energy so far. The next thing that I have is an arrow connecting to the other side of this model. So this is kind of a cause and effect. The motion over here causes the motion over here. So we need to use the word sound, evidence, and transfer. So I can say that I have evidence that sound caused energy to transfer to the sticky note because I saw it move. Because I saw it move. So I have evidence. I can take evidence off my list that sound caused the energy to transfer, or the sound transferred energy. I like that better, actually. I have evidence that sound transferred energy to the sticky note because I saw it move. So I'm going to change my answer a little bit. I have evidence that sound transferred energy to the sticky note because I saw it move. And nothing else touched it. So we know that sound had to be the thing that transferred the energy because nothing else touched the sticky note. And we can use pattern. Remember, we said that this was a cause and effect. Striking or hitting the pencil on the cup causes the paper clip or the Post-it note to move. So our cause is hitting the pencil. The effect, the cause is hitting the pencil on the cup. The effect is the moving paper. I get cause and effect relationships from patterns. In this case, the pattern that I can see is that the paper only moves when I hit the pencil on the cup. All right, I hope this is helpful. I think it's pretty fascinating that you can cause a change just by, or without even touching anything. So all we could cause a change in the position of the sticky paper without touching it at all. And we were just able to use the air to change its position. Remember, this is exactly how sound works. Sound works because you have a speaker. The speaker moves that cone back and forth, and the air then carries the sound wave to your ear. Your ear moves just like we saw the cup move. Now, the only reason we have to hit the cup to hear it, and we can't hear it when we just slide it back and forth slowly, is because that's not a fast enough vibration. Remember, sound is just a vibration, and we have to have a pretty fast vibration in order to be able to hear it. All right, thank you so much. I look forward to continuing to talk about energy and energy transfer in our next lesson. I will see you then. Thank you.